Welcome back to Nexus Tech. This past week in gaming was, well, it was huge. We had a legendary RPG hitting a massive milestone, a giant showcase for Japanese games, and of course the launch of the year's biggest shooter. Now, on the surface, these seem like three totally separate events, right? But what if I told you they're all telling us the exact same thing about where gaming is headed? Let's break it down.
So, you've got a 10-year-old RPG, a showcase focused on Japan, and a brand new Call of Duty. What's the connection? Well, on the surface, probably nothing. But I want you to think of this explainer as a puzzle. We're going to look at these three titans of the industry and piece together the single powerful message they're all sending about the future of how we play.
All right, first up, let's talk about our Titan of Legacy. It is so rare for a single-player game to just dominate the conversation for this long, but one title is proving that the past is, well, more powerful than ever.
Fallout 4 just turned 10 years old, a full decade. I mean, think about that. In an industry that moves at light speed, hitting that kind of milestone while staying this relevant, that is a massive, massive achievement.
And let's be clear, this isn't just some forgotten game. When it launched, it was an absolute phenomenon. It won over 200 awards, including Game of the Year. It's been a titan from day one.
So, to celebrate, Bethesda is dropping the ultimate version. And this thing is a monster package. You get the full base game, all 6 official DLCs, and over 150 items from the Creation Club. We're talking a definitive edition with well over 100 hours of content right out of the box.
But here's the really forward-thinking part, the new Creations menu. This is a total redesign of how players interact with mods. It integrates them directly and seamlessly right into the game. It just makes finding and installing new content from both pros and the community incredibly simple.
So, the big takeaway here is this. Fallout 4 isn't just a game you buy and finish anymore. It's basically become a living platform, kind of blurring the line between a classic RPG and a long-term service. And it proves that great franchises, when you support them, can be these long-term assets that generate interest for a decade or even more.
Okay, let's move to our second Titan and see how this all connects. We're shifting our focus from the past to the future of content itself. Sony is placing a huge bet on what we're calling the Titan of Diversity, shining this massive spotlight on games from Japan and Greater Asia.
And this wasn't just some quick little segment in a larger show. No, Sony dedicated over 40 minutes just to this showcase. That runtime alone tells you everything you need to know. This is a major strategic priority for them, not some niche event.
And this timeline, it just perfectly illustrates their global ambition. The broadcast was scheduled for prime time all across the world, from North America to Europe to Japan. They were making sure these titles got maximum visibility on a global stage.
I mean, just look at this lineup of potential studios. It is a who's who of Eastern development giants. You're talking about the creators of everything from Final Fantasy to Dark Souls, plus these rising stars from initiatives like the PlayStation China Hero Project. This is some serious, serious firepower.
And here's the real insight. For years, a lot of these incredible games were kind of considered niche in the West. Sony is actively changing that story. They're signaling that these titles are now essential, mainstream pillars of the entire PlayStation ecosystem. So, what does this mean for us as players? Well, it's huge. This isn't just about one event, it's about a fundamental shift. The industry is actively looking beyond its traditional creative centers, and that means a future with more varied, more interesting, and honestly, more innovative games for all of us.
And now, for our final piece of the puzzle, the Titan of Access. While Fallout showed us the value of legacy, and the state of play showed us the future of content, the new Call of Duty is fundamentally changing how we get that content. Let's just start with this number, 106 gigabytes. That is the install size for the new Call of Duty. That's not just a big file, it is a genuine barrier, right? It's a huge download that eats up a massive chunk of your precious hard drive space.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The old way versus the new way. Traditionally, you'd shell out $70, wait forever for that massive download, and then play storage space Jenga on your console. The new model? It's just included with your subscription, you preload it, and you play the literal second it goes live. All of that friction is just gone.
And let's be really clear, this isn't some watered-down Game Pass version. This is the full blockbuster experience. You get the co-op campaign, new multiplayer, the return of round-based zombies. It's the whole package, day one.
So the critical point here is that this really feels like the tipping point. Putting a franchise as massive as Call of Duty on a subscription service on day one, that is no longer an experiment. It's the new standard. It confirms that pivot away from one-time purchases to instant subscription-based access.
You know, we break down these industry-shaping trends every single week. So to make sure you stay ahead of the curve, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so we've looked at our three titans: a decade-old RPG, a showcase of amazing Asian games, and the world's biggest shooter. Now let's put this puzzle together and finally reveal the single powerful message they're all sending.
First, Fallout 4 taught us that legacy is power. Our favorite games are becoming these living platforms that we can enjoy for years. Next, the state of play showed us that diversity is essential. The future of content is truly global, and that's incredibly exciting.
And finally, Call of Duty proved, without a doubt, that access is the future, with subscriptions starting to replace one-time ownership.
So think about it. You've got these long-lasting platforms, a whole world of diverse new content to discover, and instant access to all of it. This isn't just three separate news stories. This is the blueprint for the future of gaming. So the only question left is, which of these titans is going to define your future as a player?